Today, I'm going over Tangled the Series and why I think it's the best bit of girl power that Disney has released to date. Hi guys, welcome to the Fangirl. I'm your hostess McGann, and this is my love letter to Tangled the Series, also known as Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure. If you haven't given Tangled the Series your time yet, I do have to admit it was a little bit rough for me to get through season 1. Not that it's bad, it just feels like it's geared towards a younger audience than what would normally hold my attention. But once we hit the Queen for a Day two-parter episode and we get the introduction to the Zantiri arc, things really pick up. But compared to Tangled the movie, how does the show hold up? Well, I have never been silent about the fact that Rapunzel is my favorite Disney princess, or that I hate the ending of Tangled. I sincerely think that Rapunzel should have been the one to make the decision to cut her own hair, or, at least been involved in deciding to remove the thing that makes her special and unique in the world. That's not something for Eugene Fitzherbert to decide for her, no matter what the circumstances are. And maybe she was choosing to have her hair over him because it's not like she didn't know that cutting the hair removed all its power. So, egocentric much, Flenny boy? Fight me if you want, but I really hate that part of the movie, and I think a guy literally stealing the power away from a girl just because he loves her is such a backhanded message. The writers should have known better than to try and sneak that in. I mean, you can be in love and special and make your own decisions. It's not that complicated. Okay. Let me step down off that soapbox and reiterate that Rapunzel is my absolute favorite princess. I love that story even 20 years before Disney made a movie about it. But then Tangled the movie came out and we were both rocking the long blonde hair thing. My hair was actually even longer than it is now, if you can believe it. Rapunzel also collects hobbies like me, and we both spent a significant unfortunate chunk of our lives being locked away. So despite any critiques that I have with the movie, I just adore Rapunzel herself. But when looking at the show, all of the nuanced details that bubble up to the surface are just absolutely perfect. We have King Frederick, who spends a long time being terrified that something will happen to his daughter again, so he's very strict with her during season 1. And actually, Rapunzel and her father both show some looming signs of PTSD within them, and I think that's a really nice, realistic touch. At least I find it very humanizing when somebody goes through a trauma and it's not just like, oh, everything's honky-dory rainbow sunshine butterflies now. In real life, there are residual emotions that affect people for years after a wrong has been righted, so I like that that's in there. Then we have Rapunzel and Cassandra regularly professing their platonic love for each other, which I have to say I am extremely thankful to see. In the media, you are not able to be shown as caring deeply about somebody who is the same gender as you, or else you're automatically romantically involved. And that is so ridiculous, it makes me nuts. Certainly, characters can be LGBT, but that is not the one and only reason that people express love for each other. Women get close through intimacies like telling secrets or exploring interests with each other. But yeah, just saying, there are more Leslie Knope types out there who are going, oh my dear, sweet, wonderful, beautiful, cherished Anne, than the media would like you to believe. Anyways, the point that I'm trying to get to is that it's healthy and appreciated to show more relationships where people love each other deeply as friends, not just secret wannabe lovers. And Rapunzel's friend Cass is an entirely complex being herself. She has so many issues of self-doubt and buried self-loathing, even a huge inferiority complex because her own mother abandoned her, and all of that surfaces and manifests in every behavior and action that her character makes. So even before Cass finds out who she really is, she doesn't really feel accepted by her adopted father, and even though she's not entirely sure why for the first 2 seasons, she finds something unlikable about herself probably because her mother rejected her. And it's really dark and gritty and painful and sad, but it's also so real and relatable. Then moving on to Eugene, he is still completely in love with himself, which on more than one occasion in the show made me wonder if he really wanted to marry Rapunzel, or if he just kept proposing because he thought he deserved the perks of being hitched to a princess. So Eugene's level of narcissism hasn't really lowered in the series at all. And he didn't seem to get a lot of character growth, even though there were so many opportunities to do a lot more with his feelings once he found his father. Heck, the show doesn't even get into any real details about Eugene's mother. Although his real name being Horrence, which is even worse than Eugene, is an extra level of comedy that I appreciate. But you know, I really did like that Eugene proposed multiple times and Rapunzel said no. Looks like Buddy Boy burnt some trust toast when he cut someone's magical hair without their consent. But it's really another horrible trope that Hollywood sets as a standard where someone proposes, the girl says no, and that's just the end of the relationship. I'm not ready means, well, we have to break up now. I only wanted to spend my whole life with you. I can't be put out to wait. But, you know, dating somebody is a completely carefree activity for the most part. You spend time with them, time away from them. There's no real financial demands to take care of them. But as soon as you are legally bound in matrimony, it can shift the dynamics and create an unintended dependency where your spouse either becomes your parent or your parole officer, and then resentment builds up and relationships fall apart. So marriage is not just something to hop into before you're ready and on equal ground with your partner. Plus, it's not like Rapunzel stopped loving Eugene or she fell out of love with him. She just needed more time and space to develop as her own person, which she does gloriously in the series. And then by the end, the couple get engaged on equal ground without Rapunzel feeling like she owes Eugene something as her rescuer, twice really, once from being trapped in the tower and once from Mother Gothel directly. However, in Tangled the Series, Eugene's behavior, especially on the battleground, is so much more enlightened. It was way more than I expected from the series, honestly. Most, if not all of the scenes where the group is in a confrontation, Eugene does not take the stance of, "Stand back, I'll handle this for you, princess." He's doing his part, Rapunzel's doing her part, and they mostly trust that the other one can handle themselves. Sure, there's some rescuing that goes on, but the manner in which they fought never made it feel like Rapunzel was weaker or lesser than the guys in the party. In fact, with her hair powers, she was typically the strongest person in the room. And that leads us to Rapunzel herself, who, in pretty much every battle, never once picks up a weapon. And, you know, the frying pan does pop up once or twice, but I don't even think she uses it on anybody. Most every time Rapunzel fought, her weapon was her hair. And even when having to defend herself from violence, Rapunzel's goal was always peace and working things out. And certainly magic hair does have its advantages, especially when it's now unbreakable. But most of the time, Rapunzel just lassoed that mane around without using any of the bonus features for those luxurious locks. So yeah, now it's established that you can be beautiful, fashionable, good-hearted, and a kick-butt warrior woman. I mean, when was it decided that you can't sing a sweet ballad and rip somebody's face off? Women are complicated, deal with it. When Tangled the Series finally does get to the last episode and we have this major fight against Santiri, I really absolutely adored how it was Rapunzel and Cassandra that were the last two fighters standing. The ladies work together, Rapunzel pulls some super awesome hair jitsu moves, and as if Disney heard me, Rapunzel cuts her own hair to deliver the finishing blow while Eugene is, I don't know, knocked out somewhere? But Rapunzel definitely doesn't go running and crying to Eugene every time something goes wrong in the series, and I love that. Rapunzel has her own plans and her own contingencies that she is constantly working out in her head. It's like everything I took issue with in Tangled the movie was fleshed out and delivered beautifully in Tangled the Series. Well, there is one exception. I kept waiting for Maximus to be named Captain of the Guard like he is at the end of the movie. but Eugene ended the series with that title for some reason. Overall though, for 99% of Tangled the series, it was just handled perfectly. It is 2020, and this whole concept of a passive princess who waits to be rescued should be long gone. Women are equal people who have brilliant minds of their own, so they should be actively involved in the action and have a role to play in decision making as well. I can still remember back in the 90s when Aladdin the series came out, and it was a fantastic show, but it got to the point where I could not even stand Jasmine anymore. Every time we saw Jasmine, she was either angry, getting Daphne'd by the next villain, or jumping up and down like a vapid cheerleader while the guys standing next to her did all the work. Like, who are you? Be a person! And even as a 7-year-old kid when that series came out, it just made me so upset to see that Jasmine falling in love altered her personality so much. Really, in The Little Mermaid 2, it's also the exact same kind of issue. Ariel goes from this curious, inquisitive lady who is fascinated with everything to a dutiful wife that fears the ocean and can't even relate to her own daughter despite having grown up with 6 sisters. Come on, being a female should be one of the things that a female knows how to do, right? The Disney sequels tended to deconstruct that inner fire that drove the princesses and made them interesting. So I was honestly horrified when I heard that Tangled was getting its own show, but I could not be more elated with the end results. So again, if you haven't seen Tangled the series yet, then get thee to Disney Plus already and binge that thing, because that show does pretty much everything right. I might be overthinking it, but that's literally my job, and happy birthday, Rapunzel! She's 10 today, we can have all the spirit fingers! 7 a.m. the usual morning lineup. Starting the chores and sweep till the floor's all clean. Polish and wax, do laundry and mop and shine up. Sweep again, and by then it's like 7:15. And so I'll read a book, or maybe 2 or 3. I'll add a few new paintings to my gallery. I'll play guitar and knit and cook and basically keep wondering, when will my life begin? I stole this doll from my daughter because she said she didn't want her anymore, but it's like, look, she's so pretty with all her long ragdoll hair. How could you reject her? And I've also ended up with Merida and Anna and Elsa, and my sweet little baby girl does not like her Disney swag anymore. Anyways, guys, thanks for derping out with me. And at last I see the light, and it's like a fog is lifted. I really don't know that song, which I should by now because it's been like a decade. What is wrong with me? But Rapunzel's my favorite princess, as you can see from one of my very favorite dolls. I bought the entire set of 5 of these different Disney designer dolls just to not miss Rapunzel. And she's so cute. She's got that Flynn rider all tied up. And it is Rapunzel and Flynn, not Rapunzel and Eugene here. I've always been sad, though, that when they did the, what was it, Tangled Ever After, where they did the little short for the wedding, they had so much really good merchandise for that, including these, like, Disney dresses for little girls. And I wish I would have got those because they ended up being, like, such hot collector's items and they were so pretty and cute. I do have the 17-inch wedding Rapunzel up there, but I'm not going to get her down right now because I feel like those dolls are hanging on by a very thin thread, but you can watch me unbox that doll and get a closer look at it over on the Fanily if you're interested. This time I'm really gonna go though, guys, and thank you for watching. See you next time, Fanily members. Okay, let's do the real video now. Yes, let's get you over where you belong. Also known as Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure. So, egocentric much, Flynny boy? Women are complicated, deal with it. Women are complicated, deal with it. Women are complicated, deal with it. We start to get a taste, the introduction to the Zantiri arc. Looks like Buddy Boy burnt some trust toast when he cut that magical hair of hers without consent. even boob squishing each other, which is a real thing. I can't wait. But most of the time, she just lassoed that mane around without using any of the bonus features for those luxurious locks. Luxurious? What is wrong with me? Once from being trapped in the tower, and then again from Mother Gothel taking her and running off, even though that may have been the option that Rapunzel preferred. I'll play guitar and knit. I'll play guitar and knit. 7 a.m. the usual morning lineup. Start on the chores and sweep till the floor's all clean. Polish and wax, do laundry, and mop and shine up. Sweep again, and by then it's like 7:15. And so I'll read a book, and so I'll read a book, and so I'll read a book, or maybe 2 or 3. I'll add a few new paintings. Well, family members, we're almost done, but I want to invite you to hang out with me in some other places. I'm on Twitter and Instagram as my own personal self, and I have a Facebook page too, but I mostly just post photos over there. And sometimes people say, "Hey McGann, I want to mail you something. How do I do that?" Easy. Just click the About tab on my channel page, and my most current P.O. Box info will be right there. I also run another channel, The Family. It's really a hodgepodge channel where we might post anything. Oh yeah, and I also sell shirts and stickers and stuff with the Family and the Fangirl logos. If that is your cup of tea, I have a link in every description of every video. Finally, if you want to help out the Fangirl channel and make sure I'm putting out video essays for years to come, the best way you can help is by subscribing and watching more of my videos, whether they're new, old, whatever. Maybe even share 1 or 2 on social media, help spread the word. People who watch to the end of videos like you helps to tell the site, hey, this is a good video, we should recommend it to other people. So if you made it this far, leave me a comment of something like, hey, I made it to the end. Love ya. See you next time, family members. Bye.